CBS News correspondent Errol Barnett joins me now from the White House to talk more about this. So, Errol, Chief of Staffs come and go at the White House. What makes Priebus's resignation so different?
You're right, Elaine. What's so different is the short tenure. I mean, at only 189 days as Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus is now the shortest serving Chief of Staff in U.S. history. Typically, White Houses will rotate through their top communicator because of exhaustion, because they get burned out. I mean, typically, these are roles that people enjoy for a year or more. But the fact that this tenure was only about 6 months long shows you just how chaotic and fractious the Trump administration has been. Also, what made this departure so unusual, Elaine, is that Reince Priebus was essentially publicly humiliated by current White House staff. And that, of course, happened in the form of incoming communications director Anthony Scaramucci speaking with the New Yorker and saying very negative things about Reince Priebus. He did the same thing on CNN, where he claimed that if Reince wasn't behind White House leaks, something that Scaramucci says he is going to clamp down on, then it was up to Reince himself to publicly say that he was not the one doing the leaking. I mean, that level of battle between current White House staff at the most senior level is highly unusual. And for it to end in really a series of tweets by the president, the announcement was made online, and then he verified it to the press on the tarmac in the rain. That too is a very unusual way of showing a changing of the guard. Typically there is a ceremony in the White House when such a thing takes place. So it gives you a sense of just how abrupt and chaotic the management style within the White House is.
Well, Errol, talk about the timing of this move as well. This is one of many recent moves at the White House.
That's right. Well, we know that Sean Spicer, the former press secretary, is on his way out. He is being replaced by Anthony Scaramucci. We also know that President Trump was dealt a severe legislative blow this week when Congress would not pass, or the Senate would not pass, the skinny bill, the version of the legislation to repeal and replace Obamacare. And at this stage, we know that President Trump is frustrated at the lack of wins on the scoreboard. And the person responsible for that is most likely, in his view, the Chief of Staff. Reince Priebus was the former chairman of the Republican National Committee. Sean Spicer was a former spokesperson for the RNC. And in many ways, the calculation was to have these Washington insiders as part of the administration in order to get things done on Capitol Hill with establishment Republicans. So what we're seeing is a real shift in this White House, where those with ties to the RNC are being pushed out, and others, General John Kelly, is being brought in to be a part of this team to get things done on Capitol Hill. It remains to be seen if that will work, but the timing of this seems to represent a type of pivot in the direction of the White House.
Well, Errol, the president has been tweeting angrily about the Senate's failure to repeal Obamacare this morning. How much of the White House turmoil is related to that failure?
Well, it's a good question. You know, President Trump is most likely realizing the limitations of his tweets. During the House effort to pass its version of a bill that could repeal and replace Obamacare, the president was in regular contact with House members. He invited them over to the White House to kind of twist some arms. And if we remember, when they did pass legislation, the president held a ceremony in the Rose Garden to celebrate that first step. Senators, he has been, it seems, a bit more hands-off with the Senate, although Vice President Pence has made a lot of contact with senators and, of course, was on the floor when he expected to make the tie-breaking vote. But it proved to not be enough for those senators who see this administration as vulnerable and see the president's very vocal statements online as damaging to his own agenda. So Republicans are now starting to get a frayed relationship, it seems, with the president.
All right, Errol Barnett at the White House for us. Errol, thank you.
Sure.